I have no idea.
Hello! Shut up, Mikey. I'm doing the podcast intro. Welcome to Australian Transformers Weekly. We are your first choice for Transformers news and Bogan updates in Australia. This is episode 122. I say Bogan updates because we have Mikey on the show this week, and Mikey seems to be a controversial touch point in Bogan history. We are recording live on September the 8th, 2017, a day late this week because we've got news from Hascon. That is the first time I've ever said that in my life, and I probably don't want to do it again. I am your host, Jason. Joining me this week, we have Brad down in Melbourne. How are you doing, Brad?
Victoria and Highland Bogan, say hello.
Look, to me, all of Victoria is basically Melbourne, okay?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, all Victorian is Melbourne to Melbourne as well.
Fair enough, too. How are you doing?
Great. Back for another week. And yes, we are a day delayed because normally a full recording last night would have 300 images from the show floor to report on. Yet today we have official releases, so it's a lot easier, a lot more compact, and we won't have to fall asleep.
Yes, indeed. That is a very good point. The other reason why we are on a day delay is because of the amount of time it takes to get a signal to and from Adelaide. Max, how are you doing over in Adelaide there?
Oh, hi. Shut up, Mike. It's going well. Yeah, it's been going all right. So I've been trying to sort out a SA meetup in the next couple of weeks. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Yeah, and that's been going all right. No more blackouts, so no more jokes from Brad, which is nice.
Oh, don't worry. We're about to fall into the same boat. And yeah, I'm scared.
So now the joke's on him.
Do I look like I live in Florida to you?
Ooh, touchy.
I'm not really sure, but we should probably not just...
Is that
Mikey,
deep?
Mikey, how are you doing?
Hi, yes, because coming to me, you won't get anything less controversial.
Yes, no, I don't expect anything controversial from you in any way, shape, or form. Let's move on.
So no. I just want to say that. No, I just want to say that I got up today and voted for something about, and yeah, it was fun. So that's what I legitimately have no idea what I voted for today. I just voted because you get a $450 fine if you don't vote. Which
so I was talking about this with a friend today. So we are talking about New South Wales local council elections, just so that you know what you voted for, Mikey.
Okay.
A lot of councils in New South Wales, or at least sort of around the Sydney metro area, went through an amalgamation process. I'm not sure if it was last year or the year before, and they were placed on. They had interim administrators after the merge, and now they're back to democracy. And many of us had to take time out from what we were doing today to find a polling station and earn ourselves a democracy sausage. Did you get a democracy sausage, Mikey?
God, no. If I did, I wouldn't be complaining. Sausages are awesome. Yum.
Yeah. So that's that. Look, that is. It's been a week, and that's basically the news for the podcast. Thank you for listening, everyone. Yeah.
See you guys.
What else have people been up to this week? Has there been anything bigger? Have we all been like just battening down the hatches, waiting for the hurricane that is the news from Hascon to come along?
That.
Yeah,
So I can't make hurricane jokes. All right.
Also, I just want to point out, if you are actually interested in Hurricane Irma, Hurricane Irma has actually apparently, because it is so wide, it's a huge megastorm, it has apparently picked up sharks out of the ocean, thus making Sharknado real.
No. Oh god!
Sharknado is actually real. It's now a thing that has actually occurred.
See, I'm not sure what's better, Sharknado or from Hurricane Harvey, where blood from an AIDS clinic spilled into the water and alligators got out of the zoo, thereby making the streets filled with Gatorades.
That is the best thing I've heard all day. Thank you, Max. You deserve an award.
That was a long walk, but we got there.
It also sounds absolutely terrifying, but yep.
Free Gatorade. Doesn't sound too bad.
Well, That happened.
Yeah.
That really happened.
Oh, it was good.
I did rewatch Transformers 5 and realized that I convinced myself to think it was a good movie.
So what was the greatest natural disaster of the week? Was it Hurricane Harvey, Hurricane Irma, or Max watching Transformers the last night?
Max
I'm
watching
gonna go
Transformers
with Max.
last night.
Yeah, pretty much. Yes. Yeah,
Max, we are actually dispatching Red Cross to your place of residence.
I'm afraid it's too late for that. I'm already dead.
they're sending you some good movies. You know,
There's
Godfather,
no recovery to be made from this.
anything but the Transformer movie. Ooh. Go watch.
All
it.
right.
That's good.
I think perhaps we should get started on some Transformers news. Now, we are a day late because we are mainly focusing on the Power of the Primes news that was revealed at Hascon this week. There's a couple of other news stories slipped in there as well. Now, first up, like any podcast, it is the winning picture from Take Your Bot to Work Day, which is the competition in the Transformers Collectors Club Australia discussion group on Facebook that encourages you to pick up your bot from your shelf, take them out into the real world, outside beyond that shelf barrier, and take a photo of them and show us what you can do. So this week's winner is another returning winner who's, I believe he's won before anyway. It is Leaf Prime with, who have we got there? We got RC, and she's about to be descended upon by, is it Nightbird? Nightbird?
Yep.
Yeah, the Takara one. Someone
Yes.
cue the Predator theme tune.
Oh, I can't even remember that one.
I don't even know what the Predator theme tune sounds like.
What I was
But
about
I
to say
was-
was.
Does it just sound like an alien? Oh, okay. Yeah, no, fair enough, too. Yeah.
Those listening will be hearing it now.
Because
Oh,
Brad
right,
will completely obliterate copyright and play it in the background of this segment.
It'll be 10 seconds. It's fine.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's okay. They will know it from my wonderful singing voice.
Take it away.
Okay, now
Travelling on
stop
from
the cat,
there,
stop the cat
we-
going.
Traveling on from there, let's start talking about Power of the Primes before the utter disaster. I'm not even sure who that was singing. Are we done with the singing?
Yes, I'm done with the scene.
I think we're done with the singing. I think we're done with most things.
I wasn't expecting you to tell me to take it away.
Look, you should always expect me to tell you to take it away.
Exactly.
RC is going to get
You'll
absolutely
give him-
killed there.
You'll give him the chance, and you failed.
Yeah.
Speaking of
You've had
failure,
your chance.
Yes.
Ooh. So this week,
Across the bow.
this week is Hascon in the United States. This is the replacement for BotCon. So Hasbro now has a wider, somewhat. Or don't you dare jump up there, Andy? No. Oh, wait a minute.
Hasbro has a wider. Don't you dare jump up there, Andy.
Can I just point out that my cat has just jumped up on my animated shelf because he knows that it's going to annoy the shit out of me. I'll be back. Talk about how much you hate
we commented a few weeks ago about that lovely display, and I was like, just imagine if that cat gets up there. It's like, no, he doesn't know how to get up there. He won't get up there at all.
What a
It's
lovely
fine.
display. Wait a second. Don't you own a cat? Basically.
So I didn't expect that
I've
to
woke up
happen. Sorry.
Yeah. I've woke up in the morning and had bots off the top display, fallen, or a lot of me 07 movie leader stuff on the ground. Like, how did this happen? And then I realised my Python was no longer in its cage.
Oh my
It
god.
decided to go. It decided to go to the top.
What?
It decided to go to the top of the displays in the lounge room.
This is not a euphemism, right?
Right.
No. This is a East Coast carpet python. About a
I'm
metre and a
never
half long.
coming to your house. Oh my god! Oh my god! My Python escaped. Sorry. Let me go find it. And I've only found this out because some of my Transformers have moved, not because I don't know. There's a snake crawling
Also,
around my house. Crawling.
One of my
slithering.
children is missing as well, so that's also.
I don't know. Do you reckon Brad's Python could defeat Metroplex?
It's probably already eaten it.
If you just jiggle Metroplex around a bit, should be fine.
Mm-hmm. Okay, shall we go back to talking about Power of the Primes, or should we talk about like weird household pets a little bit more?
Let's talk about the pet.
Anyway,
all right, the power of the Primes. So Hascon is the replacement for BotCon, and it's now run by Hasbro. It's not run by FunPub, and I think it's a little bit more corporate and probably a little bit less community oriented. But what it means is that Hasbro reveals a whole shit ton of upcoming figures at their convention event, and they have. I mean, look, let's be honest. Out of Transformers and My Little Pony, like which one do you think is going to get more attention at Hascon? It's probably going to be Transformers.
G.I. Joe.
Yeah, but no, you're right. It probably will be. It probably will be My Little Pony. Anyway, My Little Pony doesn't have an upcoming new toy line next year. Actually, it might. But Power of the Primes has been revealed in a little bit more detail than we had before. And what we do know is that we're getting Dinobots. And it's been a while since we've had a full set or full complement of Dinobots. I believe we decided a few weeks back that it was actually Transformers Animated was the last time we got them. And so we're getting
not a full compilation. We got Forever, but it was
Animated was fairly full compared to what was on screen at least.
No, we only got the 3. It was only Swoop.
Yep. Well, in Animated, there was only 3 Dinobots, so we got all 3 of them in toys, so then we got a full set of Dinobots.
Yeah, and I guess the thing is that we've had updated Dinobots in the past, but they've either been Grimlock or sort of just the rest of the Dinobots in a different aesthetic. This is the first time we've actually, like since G1, this is the first time we've had a redo of the G1 Dinobots.
But also, if we're talking about the last full set of Dinobots, Age of Extinction.
Yeah.
Even then, it's still not G1, so this is the
first
time.
Yeah, I agree. Yep. Doesn't mean
I'm watching my cat again.
You need like little lasers to pop up, so then they can't get like.
No, I don't. He's already got them built into his eyes. Have you not paid attention to cats? Anyway, so we found out the shocking news that the Power of the Primes Dinobots are a combiner, as we expected / feared. Yeah. I'm going to say over the last few weeks. So they're a combiner. They're not really the same as the Combiner Wars combiners. They say that they've done some work on the combining mechanism. There's different joints. The combined modes have ankle tilts, etc. But they're combiners, all the same. And
looking at Grimlock, you can clearly see the pegs behind his knees. Where arms or legs
I was actually just going to ask, like, where are the combiner ports?
You can at least see the slots where they go into on the bottom of a feet in the Dino mode.
And then the tail, I think those.
Oh yeah, because if you look on the sides of his
Mikey is now admitting that Grimlock does have a tail after saying all week that he doesn't.
On the thing that kind of sort of looks like a tail. Oh, yeah, it's all blocky and it's not good enough.
On the thing that comes off of Grimlock's behind and tapers out to a point.
It's a stool, basically.
Almost akin to a tail.
That is a poop. That's not a tail. That is a big old poop.
Yeah. No, but it's got blocks hanging off the side of
it. Sure. Anyway, so what we have a Voyager class Dinobot in Grimlock. The rest of the Dinobots are the Dinobots as we know them are Deluxe class, and there's a new Legends class female Dinobot.
Oh, female.
So there's a bit of a look at Grimlock now. These are the official.
It's a very G1 looking Grimlock.
They know that, like, the whole thing, they're all very G1 looking. Like, they've even got these stickers on them that show all the sort of retro circuitry and designs and stuff. I really like it.
Yeah.
Dare I say that this Grimlock's going to be better than the most recent MP08 issue?
No, I don't like.
You might dare to say that, but I don't think it will be the truth.
Yeah, there's some issues here.
His head is very MP. Yeah, his head looks really.
It's G1. It's G1 Grimlock. You can't.
Yeah. This is the thing. They are actually G1 figures. Like, their transformations look very similar. But
Even the
they
backpack.
have some slightly modern engineering. So we're looking at Swoop now, and so Swoop's feet always transform and go up on his back, and the wings spread out. I like the way that they've done the wings on Swoop. I like the way that he's true to his G1 transformation still, and he's got Combiner Wars and Titans Return level posability too.
And he's not strafe.
Looking really
I
nice.
thought he'd be strafe.
Then he's got his toy colors here, but at the panel they hinted they'd be doing a cartoon colors version.
Also,
So while we are talking about Dinobots, there's been discussions that there'll be G2 colored Dinobots, and that there would also be a Diaclone homage as well. Not really sure how I feel about that.
Yeah, but they haven't really outright said anything. They just showed a slide at the panel of all the Diaclone Dinobots, so I'd say it's pretty likely.
That's what I mean by hints, but yeah. So there's Slug, and these guys actually have quite a lot of detail on them. And as we were looking at them earlier, now I don't know how much of this is the CGI render versus the actual toy, but there's actually these clear overlay parts on them.
Yeah,
well, they did a cool thing with Swoop's head, and more like the G1 toy having his whole top of the head actually clear, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, even Slug there having a gun peg into his hip.
So it's around Grimlock's neck and around his chest as well. Slug's got, and you're right in terms of the G1 accuracy there. There's the gun in the hip, then there's this, like I was saying, there's this clear overlay thing over the face as well.
Red horns as well on him.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, Snarl has it happening on the top of his legs, around his whole front leg, and around his head again.
And that's all G1 accurate.
Shoulders.
They all are, aren't they?
Yeah.
How do
I'm
they
surprised they leaned hard into it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
is it surprising at this point that they're giving us, reimaginings of the G1 Dinobots? Like, what would you have expected them to do differently?
Nothing.
Well, we'd heard rumors for a long time we're getting Generations Dinobots, and going off the Generations line, you're going to get a pretty close G1 aesthetic with the Generations articulation, color, and detail. Being Power of the Primes, I'm half miffed about. When we're seeing this red on these figures is a lot lighter than what the actual figures are we've seen on the display.
These are press renders, yeah.
Yeah. These are almost as pink as what the Legends ones were last week. Those Legends third-party Dinobots we've seen, it's almost that same color pink, which makes you wonder if it's just press photos that have been bleached out or something. But even that sludge looks great.
I reckon they all look great. I like the fact that they've actually managed to make them into a combiner as well. I'm actually mildly impressed.
Yeah,
that's
the fact
where
that the
opinions will divide.
So much of the original aesthetic, like it still just looks like the Dinobots. You wouldn't pick these as being combiners necessarily.
There's no obvious. Apart from Grimlock, there's no real obvious combiner ports like Combiner Wars figures had.
I just don't like Sludge being in the same class as Swoop.
Exactly.
Swoop, Sludge, Snarl, and the other one. I guess it's just be a necessity in terms of how they're doing the line, though.
But that's to have it to combine. It's not
really. Like, why would you make a couple of them as Voyager class figures? You make the popular one the Voyager figure, and then you make the others the deluxes. There's no surprise there.
Yeah,
we talked about this a while ago. If they cop out just to have them combine, and Sludge has to be a limb and not.
That was your opinion.
Okay.
I agree with him.
Yeah,
I don't think you can make a whole line where you've got all Voyagers as Dinobots.
No, Age Extinction done it. Age Extinction done it. Grimlock and Sludge were Voyagers.
Voyagers, yeah.
How many other Dinobots were there in Age of Extinction?
4.
A lot.
5. But then the rest were deluxes. It was fine.
So you're saying it's okay to have a couple of Voyagers and a deluxe. So why is it not okay to have one Voyager and the rest deluxes? They're less popular characters.
Because Sludge is the biggest of them.
Yeah.
And he's
the big one. He's bigger. He's bigger than Grimlock.
Sorry, because scale matters now.
Yeah, like I get what you're saying with that, but as Jason said, most people just don't give a shit about Sludge.
I do.
Sorry, Sludge.
That's why I give a shit about him.
Until today, no one brought Dinobots to combine either, apart from Shuriken.
Sorry. Can you just say that again?
No one brought Dinobots. Okay, there was whatever that power.
No, it's fine.
No,
I just wanted to call attention to the fact that you used the word "brought" correctly.
That was quite a miracle.
Very good. Let's go on.
It's now recorded. I can use it. I can cut and copy whenever we need it.
No, it's fine. You can go for it.
God. I think my biggest issue here is just going from Generations, going into Combiner Wars, Titans Return, and now Power of the Primes. It's just this aesthetic is lingering. I'm over it. Something shocking. When we heard the rumors that there was going to be Generations Dinobots, I was hoping for Generations Dinobots. These are not it by any way, shape, or form. These
actually are. It says Transformers Generations Dinobot.
They're not. They're Titans Return. They're the same aesthetic as Return. They're the same aesthetic as Titan Return and Combiner Wars in that little suburb.
But there's a trilogy of toys.
I know.
Power of the Primes is the third part in the trilogy. I expect them to have the same aesthetics.
I know. And maybe it's because there's no media out there to watch that has any of this in it, which is still an annoyance. If they put a Springer, if they put a Springer in this,
year after this comes out, there'll be a Machinima series, right?
Yeah, that can exist on it. Yeah, okay. If they done a Springer, if they put a Springer in this line and it looked like in this aesthetic, what?
Nothing.
You would not sell your Generation Springer for this thing, design aesthetic. It's just grading down. I'm going to buy them for Dino Mode to go in the shelf as an update of the G1 Dinobots. They'll never go in robot mode.
I think that's how people will combine.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I don't think anyone really wants their Dinobots to combine. Does anyone?
Oh, there are some people. I don't agree with that.
Shuriken looks great. I'll not deny it.
Someone made a third-party combining Dinobot set, and they sold 500 of them around the world. This is great, but does anyone really want their Dinobots to combine?
Exactly. For $1,000, you hope it looks good. Now, we're going to get to it in a minute what this thing looks like combined, but it doesn't need to happen.
Can we talk about the female Dinobot first?
Yes, I like it.
Yeah,
she looks good. I didn't know she was female. And
for a Legends figure, that looks fantastic.
As usual in the Generations Prime Wars line, in Combiner Wars and Titans Return, they've all got the same aesthetic and they've all got a similar design and everything, and they're all really good. All the Legends class figures of these lines for the last few years have been really good, and this does not look to be any exception. She's a Velociraptor. Which is why people have been saying during the week that the Dinobots now have a clever girl, and I quite like it. Have you not actually noticed that?
No, I had not noticed that at all.
I'm not sure. Someone said it during the week. There's blah blah blah. There's Grimlock, Sludge, Swoop, Snarl, and Clever Girl.
This figure looks good on its own. I think I'd like it. I mean, on its own, if it was even repainted into another character.
It's going to be tiny.
There's some minor issues here, but that just comes from the mold, like having the front arms on the robot hips or the back of the thighs.
Gotta go somewhere.
And just the way the Dino Mode shot, you don't actually see the fact that the front thighs are on its chest and the legs go underneath it, but. Again, Legends figure, I refuse to call these things Generations whatsoever, but anyway.
It's okay. Hasbro's done it for you. It literally says there on the screen,
Oh, yeah.
Transformers Generations, Power of the Primes, Legends class, Dinobot Slash. It's actually a really long name for a toy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think this will make a cool overkill. For repaint value. So
Yeah.
You say that, I could see this in Dinobot colours as well.
Yeah, possible.
Oh right, okay. I was just like, are you being funny? Just like
Brad, you've confused Mikey.
I thought you just like, wait, what? And then I'm just like, oh, like actually, like
I'll make it easier for you, Mikey. I could see this in Dinobot mode as tee.
What?
So I think we're all agreed that these guys are probably going to go on our shelves as dinosaurs.
Yeah. Even like you go back up to sludge, like none of these the robot modes have ankle articulation whatsoever. Like there's no. So he's got a gun. There's no sword there. Didn't we? We had this whole conversation last week about swords.
I'm sure he does, Brad. They're just not showing it at the moment.
But he's got the pegs in the hips.
No. Like I wouldn't be surprised if these guys don't have swords.
Yeah, he's got the pegs in the hips, the 5mm pegs. So
yeah,
he's definitely going toy accurate, not show accurate, as we've seen with the red swoop and not blue.
Well, if you want show accurate, maybe you should go for a masterpiece.
No, they're not. Yeah, well,
you can't say no, they're not show accurate, because that's been your main complaint about the masterpiece line for 2017, right?
No.
So let's move on. Dinobot Slash and or maybe we should call them Slash and the Dinobots. They will now combine because every team that I don't know, was it the team that combines together stays together, and this is what they become.
Yeah,
Insecticus Maximus.
Fantastic.
Volcanicus.
Yeah, so you guys remember like a year or two ago how he had that line of combiner figures where there was only one that was badly proportioned?
You mean Combiner Wars?
Yeah, like there was just that one mold which was bad proportions,
there was just,
and even
just
then,
that one
it wasn't that bad.
It was just that one that was out of proportion, and the one that they reused everything for. Yes.
Yeah. And so now we've got another one, and I think their proportions on this look really good. I think this looks really realistic. What do you think?
Can you put your little finger to your mouth and just go hee or something? Because I think you're joking.
We're not actually used to max trolling.
And this may or may not look atrociously bad.
I spy with my little eye where Slash.
He's not he's a Legends figure.
I'm also wondering where Slash figures into the combined form, actually.
Probably the weapon or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe Slash has been spared.
He'd be like Shuffler. He'd be an upside down.
How would that be if you're Slash and you're like the first female Dinobot and you're like, guys, you're going to combine. Can I join in? Sorry, no. You can't.
No.
Well,
just stand over there.
With a name like Slash, it should be a big sword thing. Yeah.
Do you see like a sword mode in there?
No, that's the problem.
Do you see a gun mode in Power Glide? No. Don't worry, they'll make it fit somehow. They'll just have limbs.
Yeah, they'll just be like, just like wave the dinosaur head around and pretend it's a sword. All right.
The tail's pointy. It's all right. The tail's pointy. That'll be the end of it.
Stick at the pointy end.
So
this head is the prototype form of Volcanicus, and there's some discussion around the head.
Yeah, the head looks sort of Insecticon. I think Insecticon.
I see it more as a cross between Victorion and IDW Grimlock.
I actually don't see Victorion in there at all. I see IDW Grimlock when he looks straight at you. I see IDW Grimlock, but when he's looking off on an angle, it just looks it looks like a weird cross between a Transformer and a Gundam.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yep, with those fins in that area.
So you mean Victorion?
No.
Victorian's idea was the big fin on the head, and that's where I'm getting this from. It was sort of box around the head,
kinda.
and then two fins sticking straight up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's odd. Very.
So soon after well, so not soon after, but people also figured out that Volcanicus is turning up in Transformers Earth Wars, and so people at Hascon took a pass by the Transformers Earth Wars booth where we saw the digital version of this combiner for the first time. So, what do you guys make of this version of Volcanicus?
I watched the
hey, look, he's even got the little enigma of combination next to his name too.
What?
Oh, he does. He does. He has Predaking knuckle dusters, except he's missing one.
Yeah. There was a video.
Yes, that's true.
There's a video also that was posted up for Earth Wars that we got to watch earlier. That's been removed from Run Sheet, but
good job.
It looks well, yeah. It looks okay in an animated form, but it's still a monkey. Yeah.
I know what you mean. Like by being a monkey, you mean the arms go down too far, so he looks like a
and all my combinable stuff, I mistransformed the elbows so they had no elbows, just to bring the knuckles up to the hips. But it's just interesting. Well, like Shuriken, for example, Swoop was the backpack and not the arm.
And who are the two arms? What?
Swoop does look rather awkward on the arm there.
Yeah, very cute.
Where do I put these wings, guys? I don't know. All right, I'm just going to leave them here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'd be nice if it was like Shuriken or one of those third-party Dinobot combiners where you can take the wings off and put them on the back.
It's the only third-party Dinobot combiner.
I know at least Toy World did one as well.
Yeah, they did.
What?
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
What about the name Volcananus?
Volcananus.
Did you say Volcananus?
Well, it describes a figure.
There's some joke about Curry. Yeah.
What? Oh, Brad, that's one of the best ones ever. Volcananus.
Oh, I wish I had my phone. I've got the soundboard on it. Anyway, I love in that animation that we've seen in that commercial that they've brought the Force Cybertron Grimlock sword, that Energon sword in, which was very good.
If a figure comes with a massive version of that sword, that'd be fantastic.
I think a roleplay sword of that would be pretty cool, like a human-sized one, because then it has like this knuckle dusters, and you can just like hit people you don't like with it. That'd be fun.
Make it out of cardboard, or you won't get anywhere. You'll be arrested.
I was thinking glass, but yeah, right.
No one's gonna arrest you. You got a big sword.
Exactly. That's how you win battles and get elected.
And we get from time to time Hasbro will mix it up and sort of introduce stuff like this. You'll talk about Tarn and figures like that have been introduced in comics and that don't have any sort of previous franchise history and that, and fans latch onto them and quite like the characters and the figures we get for them. So I'm sure there's liking out there for the combined Dinobot.
I think you're right. I think there'll be people who actually are like, holy shit, Dinobots combined now. This is awesome. I kind of feel like in general, the collector community perhaps has not really embraced the fact that there's a Dinobot combiner now. And I kind of feel sorry for Hasbro in that respect, because there's like, what do we do? We've given you G1 Dinobots. We made them a combiner. This is the stuff that people love. And everyone's like, no.
Well, it might just go back to the fact that 30 years we've given you different types of Dinobots. We keep incarnating them into different series, comics, whatever else. And now, okay, well, we're going to give you the original ones back again as part of Generations line. But we decide to make them combine as well, and that's
it should be noted that combining is not compulsory.
Yeah. No, I guess
no, but it's just that gimmick.
The thing with these figures, though, is that people have been. I feel like we've been heaping a lot of praise on the individual figures themselves.
I think that's right.
Then all bagging on a combined mode. So it seems like that Hasbro's gone, okay, we're going to put this gimmick in there because that seems to be a line-wide thing. But, they clearly wanted to prioritize making decent Dinobot figures.
Yeah, but another point is too, this isn't coming in a gift set. This is coming individually packaged as deluxes and voyages. So
just like
it's
all
not
the
being
Combinables figures.
Well, we'll see what Takara end up doing, but
that's an interesting point. Maybe they'll bring back the Unite Warrior branding.
Yeah. It probably requires more. Grimlock's blue in that. That's a G2 Grimlock. Anyway,
it is a photo of an LCD screen, so I wouldn't read too much into it.
Okay. I just wonder, and it probably should have warranted some research beforehand, just what figures have come back after a certain amount of time and Hasbro's changed it up and people absolutely love. It's not really something going to now, but
when you say changed it up, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Well, it's not entirely G1. They've
nothing
gone
they
right
do
out.
now is entirely G1 anyway.
Okay, all right.
But I think the question's worth pondering. I need a little bit more context on what you mean.
It's just me farting it out now and just thinking about it. Just now, like using this, like, okay, we're going to do G1 Dinobots again, but we're going to include this idea. Let's make them combine and stuff. I'm sure.
They've been doing this all over Combiner Wars and Titans Return as well. We've been getting G1 figures reimagined with whatever the line-wide gimmick is as well. So they all became headmasters in Titans Return.
Titan Master.
Well, that's it. Especially the Galvatronus and the Skylynx combiner, and the Prime combiner just having bots we know combine, and then as you said, like going into Titans Return, having headmasters like Hot Rod, all those sort of ones where we're going to make him a headmaster now. It's just changing up. Here's your character, but it's also a headmaster or also something that come beforehand. Even your Shockwave, your Soundwave, and your Blaster being base modes for Micromasters. It just that was something that changed up. That
no, I thought those figures were quite well received by
people. Yeah. Most people like. So it's just this just seems to be another version of that. Like it's something that's happened before. We're going to do it. We're going to add this little functionality into it, playability, whatever else.
Look, I think it's fine, and I also think that we did call this out before. Like, I don't think they've compromised the alt modes or the robot modes in order to get the combiner stuff to happen. So, they deserve some kudos for that as well. And also,
I said a couple of weeks ago, if these.
So there's a bit of a look at the feet on that prototype, and there's also a bit of a look at how they'll be coloured on the digital version of Volcanicus.
Yeah. No, I said a couple of weeks ago, if these Dinobots showed any signs of combining gimmick, the big peg on the chest like Combiner Wars, I'll be out, and they don't. So
yeah, I don't think they do.
Yeah, no. Apart, like even Grimlock, you got the pegs on the back of the knees, and whatever those bulky bits are on the tail, that's fine. And I suppose, lastly, before I completely send this over the half an hour mark, it's a Dinobot combiner. It's going to take up that much on your shelf compared to all Dinobots taking up that much of your shelf. Like it's a good way to display on your shelf when they're combined in a Dino mode like this or combined mode like this and not taking up a lot of space.
Yeah. I'd say they're slightly less recognizable. This is the kind of thing that people will walk into your house and they'll just be like, is that Grimlock's head on the chest of that dino? Is that a Dinobot combiner? What the hell? Oh my God. And I now have to question my life choices.
Wait, people walk in your house and ask about your figures?
Yeah, actually they do.
Wait, people walk in your house?
Occasionally I'll let the outside world in.
Right. Anyway, we've focused a lot on this.
Yes,
we have. Let's go back. There's a few other official announcements here. There's Micronus, Prime Master, who we pointed out that the Prime Masters seem to have a bit of a pretender thing going on, where
Oh yeah.
they have the decoy armor, and so Micronus is a Prime Master. He comes with a slightly larger robot mode with his Cloudburst decoy armor, and yeah, and he has his little.
It's a cool gun mode.
Yes, weapon mode. Yeah.
Yep. And he looks like an eye, which is pretty cool.
He actually kind of looks like if you ignore the designer, it kind of looks like Transformers Prime Soundwave's face.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I see where you're going.
Yep. See that.
So Micronus being a Prime Master. How do I do this? I think I've put some of these in the wrong order. That's not what we want to talk about yet. This is the one we want to talk about. So the Prime Masters. I'm not really sure why Hasbro has chosen to call this a story ecosystem. It's not, but whatever. So the Prime Masters can be used with the Legends figures, as you can see, Micronus sitting on Slash, and in there they can be used as like a chest-mounted power-up on the deluxe class figures.
They plug into the hand-foot guns.
Yes.
Oh, is that what that is?
And attach or something, yeah. And so you can use that on the Voyager class figures as well. And there's a figure we haven't talked about there over on the side, so maybe we won't talk about that yet. Let's go talk about this one.
I was just going to say it lets one get a piggyback. It lets another one look pregnant. It looks
this
another
little
one.
piggy went to market.
Yeah, this little piggy gave you a big right hand, which you should not play or you'll go blind. And the other one is an alien chest.
What?
Anyway, don't worry. But yeah, don't worry. Keep going. I'm out.
So the other figure that has been revealed at Hascon is the one that we suspected would be coming when we saw the Hot Rod evolution into Rodimus Prime a few weeks ago. There is an Optimus Prime version of this, which has Orion Pax evolve into Optimus Prime. And he's a very, very G1 looking Optimus Prime.
It really, if you look at it in the boxed images, it really looks like the MPO1 mold.
It really does, doesn't it? I think I kind of feel like they've borrowed some of it. I feel like the hip and the upper leg design is just almost straight off a masterpiece.
Yeah, this.
Does anyone have the Orion Pax Generations figure?
Yes, I do.
How close is this to that?
Oh, it's totally different because this is one cartoon, whereas that's IDW Comics.
Okay, all right.
But, which does make me think this is the third generations of Orion Pax we've had.
Yeah, they really love doing Orion Pax, don't they?
Yep.
Wouldn't this be the second?
Nope.
No, because there was
the third.
There was the Thrilling 31. There was one in the 2-pack with the War for Cybertron.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And there was this guy.
And the one that retooled from Cup or whatever.
That was the Titans one.
That's early, yeah. But that Prime, I don't know if this is some more of that Ultra Magnus / Titans Return Prime engineering going on with the whole trailer combining with the truck, or if this is a completely different mold whatsoever.
It's kind of weird, isn't it?
Completely new.
Yeah.
Well,
because they have to incorporate the Orion Pax figure into there as well.
Doesn't the Orion Pax figure become the cab?
Yeah.
Comes in behind the cab.
So basically, in fact, if you look at this, you can actually see the top of the Prime chest is actually folded into the front of the trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that trailer will open up and form Prime's arms and legs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it must attach.
That make Prime a shelf
because
format.
how does he have bits on his arms? How does he have bits on his arms but not connected to his backpack or his legs? It's just
they fold.
As you said.
Yeah, what I think is going on is if you look in the image that I brought up as later,
let's go there now.
I brought up an image of so you can see what it looks like without Orion Pax in there. So basically, it just forms a box box, which has the chest windows on there.
Yeah.
And so I reckon, and between that and between the grill on this fully combined version and the grill on the truck itself, I think that Orion Pax is going to form just the cab by himself, and then the rest of it is all going to be contained within the trailer.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And there's no, I don't think, hearing what's been said so far, there's no, this Prime is a new masterpiece Prime at a $50 price point or $80 price point. This looks fantastic.
Yeah, I think
I'm
this guy is
less sold on it being like as good as a masterpiece figure. I don't
no, because that MP10 is a work of art in its own right. But this being
considering what this has
mass
to do,
retail, yeah,
like the amount of engineering that's going on at the price point and still looking this good, I think this is outstanding.
Yeah. Yep. It'll be interesting to see how they coexist. Yeah.
Let's talk about his combined mode. So we've got the Hasbro render here. So you can in fact see on there how Orion Pax fits in there. And I think if you look at Orion Pax, I think on his back you'll find the front of the cab, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
I think he basically transforms into a brick.
Yep.
Which then sits inside the robot mode of the trailer.
I think a handy part of the way they've done that is that you have this you're able to keep the accuracy between the two, because there's this really curvy and sort of sleek Orion Pax, but then when it combines, it's just chunky classic Prime.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Orion's back, I reckon, will be a problem, I think.
Yeah. Also love too, even though it's not clear, they both have exactly the same alt mode. I'm guessing that's Orion Pax on the far left.
Orion Pax turns into the cab, and then the Optimus up the armor.
The Optimus body is the trailer.
Oh, okay. So you reckon that's the Orion Pax?
Look where I'm pointing here. That is the top of Optimus's body.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you reckon
the
that's
Optimus
the
body itself doesn't have cab windows.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yep.
Also,
those
cab windows are also
legends...
not the cab windows on the Optimus body.
Yeah. No, when these leader figures, leader figures are coming with the trailer armor and the deluxe in one box as well. So
and Orion is the deluxe.
Okay. Yeah, and that's the same with the Rodimus we've seen a couple of weeks ago as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Okay.
I kind of like, but I kind of don't like. But I kind of like the fact that the Optimus Prime trailer has a spot to place the gun.
That's a big gun. Looking at that.
Longer.
Yeah, I like that the Orion Pax guns combine into the classic Prime weapon.
It's cool. Definitely very cool.
What I haven't liked about them though is that when I've seen one of the Transformers news sites was there when someone from Hasbro was setting up the stand, and so the gun would basically, the front of the gun would just fall down constantly. So it was just carrying a gun that was just pointed at the cab.
I think I've seen a few of those pictures. Yeah, it doesn't look too crash hot.
Yeah.
So
I this is far better than the Titans Return Prime. I think everyone can confirm.
Yeah, I don't think that's a very high bar to aim for.
Okay.
The Titans Return one was the triple changer.
Yeah, like
it was using the Magnus mold.
Oh wait, what do you mean Power Master?
Yeah, see, that's what I was thinking about. It's like, that was all right.
Yeah, there's a bit of love out there for the Power Master one.
Yeah, it's just by the time it got to that God Jinrai thing, the mold had just gotten so degraded.
How? Yeah. It's only been used twice.
What? No, because you had Ultra Magnus, Power Master Prime, God Jinrai.
But there's a massive retool. It's not just like putting out a repaint. You don't degrade the mold with a retool.
It's still they're taking that original mold and modifying it. Like people said, it had some serious tolerance issues.
I think that's different to mold degradation.
guess so.
Hmm.
If I had to point out one thing that looks like it might be an issue on this guy, it looks like he might have animated Ultra Magnus shoulders, where they're seated really far back on the figure.
Oh yeah, a little bit far back, but they're also a little bit higher as well.
Yeah.
You don't think that's because maybe it's using the same skeleton?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
I think. Oh shit. And.
I mean, it depends. I mean, John Warden has been known to just reuse a lot of ideas. So.
Yeah. Yeah, but I still really do think that Orion Pax is going to have trouble standing up because I think he's got a lot.
There's not a lot in the legs, is there?
No, and especially if you look at it, it looks pretty hollow. So.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen a lot of people been commenting today about how this is going to replace, or they've been wanting for a Chug Prime to be in their collection because there's only been really the Classics one, which it's G1-ish. The Combiner Wars one's absolute rubbish, and I don't think any collector's got that in display whatsoever. But there isn't really a lot of Prime out there in the mass-release Chug line.
Yeah, I guess or not straight up G1 Prime at least. This is pretty much the most faithful adaptation.
Yeah,
it has been, other than MP10.
Well, even the triple changer Prime that come out in Time's Return are just okay. It's called Prime, but there's very little that aesthetic wise that goes with it.
I feel like the major thing of this guy is that, like, the really telling thing of what's going to get people excited is that when this thing first leaked, the pretty much universal reaction was, "Oh, who cares? It's just another Leader Prime."
Another Prime, yeah.
But now we're actually seeing the figure, and people are looking at the way it's engineered. There's just this massive amount of hype for it because it looks legitimately really good.
Mm-hmm.
Chunky.
It does. It does look good. It looks like the Prime that we all know
and love.
Yeah. And want.
Interesting. So he doesn't really have smokestacks, but he has smokestacks, but he doesn't.
Yeah, I noticed that you can. Well, if you looked at that thing before, his shoulders, one of them's folded back and one of them's up. So I guess you've got optional smokestacks, if that's it.
I think it's just because the arms pointed backwards.
Well, if we look at the other picture, I guess that'll shed some light on it.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean.
I can't.
The other one's
down,
completely gone.
They fold up.
Yeah.
Okay.
I kind of feel like because they're on the trailer and they point forward, right? So they're not really smokestacks; they're just sort of guns as well. Can I also just point out, like, one of the things I love about this photo is that they've really given Orion Pax quite the cocky pose. I'm fabulous. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the definite.
But how good is that head sculpt too? Like that
gorgeous.
Orion Pax head
on.
It's Oh,
man. Painting's good.
This looks like one of those figures I might end up having to buy just for the engineering.
Orion Pax looks fairly posable too, even on his own, with all
he's got double jointed elbows and what have you.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Maybe that's actually going to be a thing in the line. We'll see.
Double jointed elbows.
Yeah, so you can bend them around like that.
Yeah.
A little bit of both. I mean, like swoopers in there.
Yeah.
Cool.
Shall we move on? I think we're about done. We're about done with those guys. Anyone need to do anything else with these figures?
No, just I posted a question in the group today, and a lot of different things. A lot of people loving the Dinobots. A lot of people loving the Dinobots and loving the fact they combine, which that's all fair and good. There was some other stuff not listed here, which was like the Dreadwing or Dreadwind, and some of those other bots as well. Cloudburst,
Smoke Chopper, I don't know.
And finally Target Master that actually look good in weapon form. So thank you to everyone that commented on the post. We got the leaks. We reported about leaks a little bit earlier on, but to actually see the figures in real life, I think they are probably look a little bit better than we first thought. So now we just need to see that
I think that's
crediting
actually,
because
I think it's actually quite unusual, right? Like a lot of the times, the figures look better than we first think when we see their renders and their leaks and stuff. People get the figure in their hands and they're like, "Oh my god, this is actually really good."
well, that too. Like again, we've poo-pooed on the Dinobots and that a little bit, and I'm sure when we come here to when we come here to new acquisitions, we actually got them in hand. I'm sure there'll be some changed minds. Yeah,
probably.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. So there's a little bit of news this week from Takara Tomy. TFW reported that there's some new additions coming into the movie The Best line, which is going to take it all the way up to a 20th release. So we're going to be getting Jazz, Bone Crusher, Megatron. I think we've already got Megatron. There'll be another Megatron, just like in the movies. Lockdown, Jetfire, the Revenge version of Optimus Prime, Warhammer Bumblebee, Hound, and Nemesis Prime. Excuse my hiccups. So lots of new movie The Best figures. We thought this line was just going to be a small, like a small re-release of a few movie figures from over the years, but that's become quite a serious lineup, hasn't it?
There's some interesting name, like Bone Crusher for one, just something like that. That Warhammer Bumblebee, I don't recall Warhammer Bumblebee being an initial release.
Bumblebee's been carrying a hammer around for a while, so
yeah, but
it could be any Bumblebee with a hammer.
Okay.
If you look at the images that got released today, it's that new deluxe Bumblebee, but I didn't show the hammer.
Okay. I don't think we've got those images on this story, so yeah.
Not yet, no. No. But that's good. Like some of these figures, 14 Megatron. I'm guessing that's the Dark of the Moon Voyager Megatron. They're gonna.
That's the.
Which one did they already release?
That's the leader version from the last night, but with red face paint.
So
so they're all over the place. All right.
Yeah, no, but like they've always been all over the place with the movie The Best series. Like the figures are just plucked from all sorts of different lines because it is movie The Best, not movie The Order.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It's what I've noticed is that the Takara Last Night line has had basically the same paint job as the Hasbro versions, but then you've got this movie The Best line, which is a much nicer paint job. Mm-hmm. So I guess it's
most likely more expensive.
Replaced their premium line with this. Well, yeah, it's definitely more expensive because the Takara versions of the current Hasbro figures are cheaper. So,
are they?
And they have the exact same paint job, but you can get them at a lower price.
So a Takara Voyager Megatron is worth the same as the Hasbro Voyager Megatron.
It's the exact same figure.
Oh, no, it's the exact same figure, but normally Takara put the extra paint on it for the collector.
No, like their Voyager Megatron from a new movie has the exact same paint as well.
Ew. All right. Okay.
Remind me from one of the panels from Hascon. I saw a panel report where they actually said that Hasbro and Takara Tomy collaborated in order to get the detail into the paint job for the figures, which explains why they're the same.
Yeah, and just looking at some of those prices there, like obviously, Megatron's definitely the leader one. Jetfire, Jetfire's the leader as well. Yeah, and okay, yep.
Yeah, it is interesting. The prices are all, quite all over the place. Some other figures that were announced as well. There's Legends LG61, the Clone Droid set, 62, a Target Master Windblade, and 63 is a G2 Megatron. What's the G2 Megatron?
That's the Combat Hero Megatron. There hasn't been any official release pictures, but there was a blurry photo taken from a convention that had
of course it was
that had that new triple changer Voyager done up in that blue and purple G2 colors.
Oh, come on.
The G2 colors one. The G2 colors were like green.
No, but there was two.
Yeah,
There was that green and purple version with the camo, and then there was Combat Hero Megatron, which was blue and purple.
Oh, okay. Yeah, cool. So Windblade
one was better.
Okay.
Boo. Boo.
So Windblade is getting released in Legends. The Clone Droids are all coming out in the one set for Takara. And there's a G2 Megatron, and there's also a re-release of Masterpiece Bumblebee coming up. But I kind of feel like if you haven't got that yet, you I don't know. It's been in ready supply. I don't know why there's a reissue of it, but yeah, fair enough.
A lot of people are posting in the group that they can finally get a Bumblebee. So
it's kind of weird.
There's probably a few people that haven't got it. I'd hope because it's a reissue, it's going to be cheaper, but it won't. Sadly,
he's fairly cheap.
Yeah, if you can find under $80, go for it. If
the pre-orders that have gone up in the
$100
already are under $80.
Yeah. So he's definitely worth getting.
Yeah, he's a good figure.
He's before the shift. I'll leave it at that.
Cool, whatever. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
We got Magnus next, and we all know my feelings on Magnus.
So it has come out that this is the movie The Best Jetfire as well. So this is MB16. He might be, I think according to this, he's coming out next March. So he's good 6 months away or so. But yeah, this is the movie The Best Jetfire. So now, Brad, you've got Jetfire from Revenge of the Fallen, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
How does this guy compare?
A lot of the lighter parts, like the silver parts, are a lot lighter color. I looked at this and thought it was a deluxe size figure. I didn't realize this was the leader one at all.
It's actually quite difficult to tell his scale.
Yeah, it was only when seeing the Revenge of the Fallen leader Prime and the Last Night leader Prime behind him that it clicked. But that original Revenge of the Fallen leader Jetfire, yes, it's a lot of black and a little bit of red, but I don't really need another version of it. He's still got the little thumb depressing feature on his chest where he talks and speaks and farts out a parachute, and I don't really need.
I don't remember my version doing that.
oh, I'm sorry. I play off my figures and imagination, but anyway.
Okay. Do you think he's gonna speak in English or other?
Well, there was that. Yeah, that problem definitely happened with this figure. There was someone who was talking in French.
Didn't the other movie The Best figures? Did some of them have speech already, and they actually had both the English and the Japanese actor on it, or was it something else that did that?
I'm trying to remember what's already been released. Weren't they just Voyager figures? Yeah. I remember the Voyager, like Dark of the Moon, Shockwave, and some of those Voyager ones that have come out already.
Not sure, to be honest.
No speech bubbles.
It's a
No
stupid
speech bubbles.
He says,
but it's
my name.
Yeah, it's just a different Earth made of cool planet dirt. But it just it's the same old. So there's nothing different here apart from some of the paint, and I'm sure customizers have already fixed theirs up a little bit more as they see fit. So
you say customizers like there's a lot of them, but
there's a couple.
Okay,
but it all comes down to as well, like you're re-releasing a movie figure in a different color scheme
for the movie The Best line.
Yeah, but most of the movie collectors are like, okay, well, I'll just get this cast and that's it. I'm done. The movie sucked. Whatever, and just continue on. But then Prime One Studios continues to amaze us with how many people want movie class figures. So
we're making a bloody onslaught.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give it.
Apparently,
give it a month. Give it a month or two. I can guarantee we're going to get Mohawk. Just we'll wait and see. Anyway.
Anyway, so back to the movie The Best line.
It's a great looking Jetfire. They're just some of the stuff they've added to it. I wonder if this can still combine with Prime or not.
Yeah, of course.
I'm sure being the same mold it will. Unless we get some word that there's going to be mold changes, which I doubt. But
no. I'm pretty sure that's the only reason they've included this in the line. It's just like
if you are going to release the Revenge Prime, then you probably need to release Jetfire as well.
Yep.
Someone figure out where we stored the Jetfire molds and dust them off.
Basically.
Yep.
Let's move on. It seems to be the year of third-party Cosmoses. So,
Cosmi?
No, definitely not Cosmi. Nope. So MMC's masterpiece style offshoot of Ocular Max's Perfection series, PS11 Omni, has been announced this week. He's a masterpiece style Cosmos. He's I'm not sure when he's actually going to be due for release, but MMC have put out.
They haven't put out a release date yet.
Yeah, and that's not really a surprise. MMC has put out a test shot of their version of Cosmos. So I think he's looking interesting. I'm not necessarily going to go the whole hog and say he's looking great, but
I think he's certainly looking like they're not afraid to just go ahead and do their own thing. Like they're leaning hard into that Studio Ox aesthetic.
Are they? I haven't really seen what Studio Ox did with Cosmos.
I can't actually remember a thing, but it's sort of that more curvy and a bit more detailed design that they've always had.
He's a flying saucer. He's gonna be curvy. This looks like a G1. This looks like a G1 Cosmos to me, apart from that green. So it could be a little bit darker.
But the green, the two-tone green around the saucer kind of is the part that gives me pause.
Yeah,
off-putting. Definitely off-putting.
It is kind of off-putting. Like when you see what was it X Transbots their Klaatu.
Yep.
That looks really good. It looks really clever. There are a couple of clever things in this one as well. Like if we go and have a look here, he's got a little control deck, and there's a little bumblebee and blaster sat in there. So
that's fantastic.
That's cute and all.
That's great.
Yeah. The front windshield is optional, apparently it says. But I don't know. This like you, Brad. You said that this looks like a blown up G1 toy, and it kind of does.
No. It just looks like the character.
The G1 character. And fair enough.
Yeah,
so
G1 character.
I kind of feel like it happens to look like a blown up G1 toy, but yeah.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, yep. It just got a little bit more face detail.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I know. I might be safe in saying looks a lot better than Toy World one, which is a flying top hat, but. I
kind of prefer the old mode on a Toy World one, but I think this certainly has the best robot mode.
And I wonder if power of the stands would have come through if they made some sort of a cone-shaped stand that this could sit on that maybe would suck something up, just like the KFC or the X Transbots one.
Oh yeah, that one's cool. I love that with the little cow inside.
Yeah, I like that too.
Yeah, that's a selling point. Who cares what the figure looks like?
I actually thought that I'd ordered the figure because of that, but it turns out I didn't.
Whoops.
Whoops, indeed.
I just accidentally ordered a $200 figure. Whoops.
No, this is.
Or I didn't.
I'm guessing this is a masterpiece Bumblebee scaled, like the Beachcomber and the other stuff that's coming out.
Yeah. Like he's never been the hugest bot, but
No.
Yeah. Which again, we've seen that little Bumblebee in it. Yeah.
Yes.
No, I don't mind this. I like it. I haven't got a masterpiece scaled Cosmos in my collection, and always on the hunt for one.
Are you? Always.
24/7. Did you like the cow one? You said.
Yeah.
The stand.
Yeah. Oh, because you think it looks like a top hat.
No, that's the X-Transformers one. He looks pretty good.
Yeah.
So which one does the top hat come with a stand, or is that the Is that the other?
No, it's a Toy World. Toy World one doesn't.
Okay, right, gotcha.
Let's move on.
Yeah. Okay.
Troubling news from the world of toy retailing this week with the news from TFW earlier this week that Toys R Us is apparently considering filing for bankruptcy.
Lol.
Yes, Transformers fans who have suffered the insanely high price of Transformers at Toys R Us and have gotten their revenge on the company by not buying from them are gloating everywhere.
The best type of revenge, just not buying from them. Oh.
Pretty much. Apparently, according to an article on CNBC that TFW has paraphrased, apparently Toys R Us has a debt of about $400 million, and they've hired a law firm that specializes in this stuff to restructure it. They're not restructuring the company; they're restructuring the debt. So they're trying to sort of figure out who they owe what to, and figure out how to sort of like figure out the payments and stuff like that. Now, the interesting thing that was hidden in this article is a reference to debt load going into the holiday season, saying that vendors like Mattel and Hasbro, which ding ding ding, this is the one that we're interested in, they need clarity into the company's long-term viability in order to put stock on the shelves throughout the holidays. Now, I thought that was interesting. That's actually the main reason why we're talking about this, is that it actually sort of shines a bit of a light on toy retailing, in that Mattel and Hasbro are not necessarily straight up selling stock to Toys R Us. They're selling through Toys R Us, but they might just be financing the sales themselves. Nobody really cares, do they?
Oh no, I'm just trying to think.
Sorry.
Before I speak. No, I got nothing. But this seems to be a complete contradiction to what we've heard when Titans Devastator come out, and Hasbro cracked shits with Big W because they listed Titans Devastator and push, then did not stock anything else from pretty much Combiner Wars at all. There was one or two figures from Waves in their store, but they didn't push whatsoever.
I think it's something that's more specific to Toys R Us and how they operate. Like, Big W is a retailer that sells lots of things from lots of departments. They're not just toy stores, but I also think like Australia is a much smaller market, so they probably are more a case of like selling stock through. Selling stock to Big W, not through Big W.
Yeah, but then you get stuff like, of course, the world knows that we get a lot of the Takara masterpiece stuff there. Also, we've got the last night.
We do, but the rest of the world doesn't, and that's actually Hasbro Australia doing that, and that's actually kind of a source of jealousy and pride for Australians in terms of the Transformers collecting market around the world, because we actually get to choose Hasbro or Takara masterpieces in store. There's no other places except for where they're parallel imported by other retailers where you get to choose that.
Yeah, we've got listeners in America. If you want to come out, if you want $145 tracks, I'll buy it for you. You can have it. That just because they stock it doesn't mean it's getting.
Doesn't mean they sell it. Yeah, no, but and this is also one of the reasons why Transformers collectors are kind of gloating over this news.
Even the Unite Warriors stuff in there.
Sure. Yeah. So one other this article does actually point to the fact that Hasbro only sells masterpieces through Toys R Us. So if Toys R Us goes bye-bye, is what happens to their masterpiece line. in terms of local effects, Toys R Us Australia already went through a bit of a restructure a couple of years ago. They shut down a bunch of stores around the place, and they consolidated things in some of their other more regional stores. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not entirely sure whether or not the Australian branch of Toys R Us is wholly owned by the US Toys R Us. They probably are. So if they go bye-bye, it's just like Borders, they'll disappear from Australia as well.
Yeah. I don't think Australian collectors are solely looking at Toys R Us to supply them with figures.
No, but even so, we know that Toys R Us is gouging everyone on price, but even so, people will still come into the Facebook group and they'll be like, "I went to Toys R Us today and I bought some figures."
Yeah, exactly. And I've seriously considered like the Skeletron, that Infernicus. Like, I know they're at Toys R Us, so I can go and get them now. I will never see them. I've not seen anything past Wave 2 here, and I know I can go down and get stuff now. It's just that juggling we do to get a figure.
Yeah. It's whatever we feel justifies it now. Hey,
It's frustrating. It is frustrating.
No one likes paying Toys R Us prices. Let's leave it at that.
No. How much do you want to figure? I'm sure we're about to get into that.
Yes, I think we are, because some very interesting statues from XM Studios got revealed this week, and I think the reaction from the group is good. Brad, do you want to talk a little bit about these once you recover?
I just need to try and get this into words. I've been calling praise to that Prime pre-color for a long time, and just seeing it in color is a thing of beauty.
Talk about Prime, even though I put Starscream up.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I was waiting for you to catch up. It looks fantastic. I'm not 100% on the stand. At no point beforehand have we had any reference or mention of a alt mode model thing for him, which sort of, just to put this into some clarification, this is $2,100 Australian through my supplier anyway, which might be a little bit more. I'm sure it might be a little bit cheaper to go through some other sites, but you're looking at $2,000 statue.
But it's a very good looking statue.
Oh, why? We had this comment. I think Cameron mentioned in the group today, like, if the movie figures look like movie bots, you're taking the G1 aesthetic, you're piecing out the panels into something that's just superb like this. Why couldn't this be the movie design?
Answer is probably a guy by the name of Michael Bay and his team of designers.
I'm going to say Hasbro selling something other than G1, but I've sung the praise of this thing for a long time before I got paint on it. But Jason, go to Starscream, please.
As you take a sip of water.
Oh
god, that's good.
This may possibly be the greatest thing in Transformers history that I've ever seen.
And it's not a Transformer.
It doesn't need to be.
Just noticed he looks like he's standing on like a hand or something.
He does, yeah.
It's like some Titan hand that he's just vanquished there. It's got the Cybertronian hexagon shapes with the detail in it. Even just the weathering in that stand, it just
gorgeous.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
And he's holding Megatron, and it's unlike these other companies just having him standing still. He's in a really, really epic pose.
Yeah, but he's sort of the whiter color too, and not just the plastic grey that we always seem to get him in. It's like the MP4. No, MP. What was that? What was after?
Just say the name. No one cares about the order being correct.
563. No, 3 was
563.
No one cares.
Whatever. Okay, pre and P11 Starscream, but just
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, fair enough.
Oh, I want a toy of it. You know, it's
So-
stunning.
And look, when you see a figure with this much detail with a G1 design, inevitably people ask questions of like, why couldn't they do the movies with these kind of figure
Brad
designs?
already did. Dude.
Yeah.
It's inevitable, and because they didn't is ultimately the answer, right? Like they didn't, but
it's an individual's interpretation of the character, and that's
it totally is.
Prime One have gone for this, not Prime One, sorry,
This
XM
is
Studios have gone for this, for this aesthetic. They've had the designers, the architects, the sculptors come in, and
but they don't have any. They don't have any media to support this character's look.
What did I just say with the Power of the Prime's Dinobots?
I just thought I'd throw that in.
You are wrong, sir. Wrong. But I just God.
Can I just also just point out there, because of the way that this is shot, if you look at the background here, I'm not sure if that's actually a figure on a stand or if that's a small child scale.
I was
going to bring small person.
I was going to bring this up. Go to one of the other star screens where you
actually, is that actually Darth Vader?
Yeah, change it.
Is that Anakin Skywalker?
Yeah, change the image. You'll see. Oh, that's getting closer. There,
I see.
You got a life-size Anakin Skywalker, a Kylo, a Darth Maul, and
a life-size. That's not life-size.
That guy standing in front of him.
Jake Lloyd was small. He's not that small.
Wait, this is some real trick photography because it looks like that guy's standing in front of him. But
this is what I was saying before. You couldn't tell from this.
Okay. No, because I was going to say this is a $2,000 figure. If those things are life size, they're going to be like 10 to 15 grand. But no,
not life size. They're standing on a stand.
No, they're not. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I get it now.
Anyway, Starscream looks awesome.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's just
Optimus looks great. In fact, I think Starscream's got the better pose, really.
Yeah, and so does his little truck. Looks pretty cool. The jet looks cool.
And as I was saying before, like as much praise as I've given this Optimus in prototype stage, the Starscream would be the one I'd be going after more than the Prime. Just because looking at we got some photos. There's going to be a Bumblebee and a Megatron as well. The Megatron does not look. It's like the action.
Oh, these came out. These came out of the Singapore Toy Con today, didn't they? Why are they not in the run sheet?
They are. No, because it's only these two. They haven't got the Prime. The B Megatron haven't been released yet, or haven't got prototypes of yet. So
fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah. If I had $4.5 grand, I'd have these two on my shelf. Damn it. They
really do look good.
Yeah.
All right. What are we going to do? I don't think there's that much else news-wise to cover. Shall we move on to new acquisitions?
Let's do it.
This is going to be the Mikey and Max show.
Mikey, you want to kick it off?
I think the thing's on you, but I'm not sure. Whatever. I'm good. Yeah. Is it on Max or is it on me right now?
It's on you right now.
Okay, I'm going. Well, thanks to Kaz Coffee, I acquired. He's out and about because I keep playing with him. I acquired a not Titans, an RID bludgeon. So thank you very much, Kaz. It's a very good figure. I did some weathering of the sword just because I felt like it, and it's a really neat figure, especially for $20. That's really cool. And I also got this guy. So this is MPM 04 Optimus Prime, and he does look good. Oh, he's very good. transformation is not too bad. It's just the fact that you've got to get his doors in a specific way to make the truck actually, streamline, and I haven't been able to do it yet. I'm thinking about modding him. Apparently, there's a mod you can do, but yeah, he's just like he's just so difficult to get together and make look really good. But he's got the cool changing head gimmick, decent looking gun. It's grey, but it's got like the weathering. The Energon blades are awesome, and in there you've got the Matrix, and that's all really well done. So I mean, and he fits in really well with your MPM Bumblebee. I think you might be able to see.
Does he have decent torso articulation?
Yeah.
Like, so, because I've seen people use where, like, can you move that stuff out in a way so his waist can actually swivel properly, or is he sort of?
Mikey's about to break his MPM live on the podcast.
No, so I think that's your limit right there. So
Well, that's not too bad.
So I'll just where the crotch is. Well, there we go.
About 45 degrees.
Yeah. So it's a decent range. But you don't want to go past that because stuff's just gonna start bashing into each other. And
do you have the Revenge of Fallen leader?
No, I don't have that
anymore. No.
But that is still really good for figure. I find that one way easier to transform than that one, to be honest, and that's saying something since that figure is notoriously hard to transform.
No, I just wonder if the leader Jetfire can still combine with
onto that.
Yeah.
No way. No.
No, that's not a
Depends on how much glue you have.
Yeah, and also how much you actually rip apart Jetfire and not be able to put him back together.
Well,
I guess
Jolt.
that's exactly how it happened in the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Have to kill him and rip him apart to put him on him, maybe. But no, definitely not. Because everyone that hasn't owned the figure of yet or hasn't had a go at the figure, some people still think that it's actually just like a retool of the Revenge of the Fallen leader, which it's not. It's very different. It's obviously it shares some cues, but like how else would it transform? So that's an alright one. Just need to figure out the doors, and then other than that, I got Trent's. I got Beast Wars. Thanks partly to Brad because he got it off me for eBay. Thank you, Brad. Yeah, I remember that thing. Anyway,
yeah, no, it's introduce you to the best series.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got. No, I've seen it before. I just wanted to own it. The Unicron trilogy, Prime and animated. So I've all got those on DVD now. Prime's on Blu-ray, and that's pretty much everyone. So I've got like G1 as well. But I really wanted to own RAD 2001, and unfortunately, because of copyright, we can't actually own the full series on DVD. So
why is it due to copyright?
There, but
you can't get an American release or something. Region 1, Region 2, UK.
No, it's. I think the UK may have got it like for a bit, but the makers of that show, I don't know the full story, but it's they have the right to it, and they didn't do anything with it, but they still have the right to it, and Hasbro or Shout Factory can't put it out unless they give them the rights to actually put it out.
Oh, okay, so it hasn't been put on DVD anywhere.
I think it has, like, I don't know how. I think England got it.
Okay, all right. Mikey, this does seem like something that could be sold with a Google.
Research, yeah.
Hey,
but,
Google,
anyway.
spell Gundawindi.
What the hell?
I don't
Gundawindi. It's not Gundawindi,
anyway.
It's Gundawindi.
Okay.
Brad, nobody cares.
Oh, windy. But yeah, that's all I got, and yeah, pretty good.
That's not all you got.
Yeah.
I'm looking at your new acquisitions list in the run sheet. That's not all you got.
Yeah. I am also looking at well, that is all I got, but I also have pre-ordered Legends Overlord because I really like his color scheme, and Toybots are doing a free shipping at the moment, so I thought might as well get on top of that. And the Power Glide, that German name?
Richthofen.
Richthofen. I got him
Horse
because he looks really good, and I believe Jason is
I
getting
got.
him.
Yes, I am. I am. It turns out I am getting Richthofen. I'm also getting the Bad Cube Huff and Pipes.
The Pipes. Yeah. Pipe or
Yes.
something.
Yeah.
no,
Turns out I'm getting those, and I forgot. It's been ages to pre-order for them, so whatever.
So, yeah, well, sometimes that happens. Like, I only just remembered I got something from Robot Kingdom through you, and I'm just like, hey, it's been like a year. Have you heard from them?
It was
He's
actually
like,
about a month, but yes.
yeah, but no, apparently that's coming. So hopefully I'll have some more reinforcements for next week. That's another podcast.
Max, you have a very large new acquisition.
Ooh,
Yeah, so basically, I'm going to have to stand up for this one.
Ooh.
You remember a few months ago, there was this whole thing of Titan's Return bus stop ads showing up around Australia?
By a few months, you're saying this is from last year.
Yeah,
This is when
yeah,
Titan's
a while
Return
ago.
first came out. Yeah, so look
Oh,
what
I mean,
look at that turned up
Last
in
year was a
action.
few months ago.
Yeah, true.
All
And
nine
so-
of them.
Everyone was pretty keen on these, and so I pretty much
My
gave up.
God.
And then
A lot of people
Dave
broke the law to
Wilkie
get one.
put up a couple of these for sale a little while ago, and
Mhm.
so picked
really
up
nice.
Fortress Maximus bus stop poster, almost as
Nah.
tall as I am. It's bloody massive.
You
So-
stole
We should mention here that these were acquired through a manufacturer and a distributor to those
Yeah,
bus
this
stops,
is-
and not
and
stolen.
not stolen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I checked,
Maxton-
and he knew a guy who knew a guy.
He
So-
knew
Who stole it from a bus stop?
Who stole
No,
it from
he
the
works
bus
at I think
And then
they
sold
did a couple
sold
of
it to
extra
someone
runs
in
at
a
the factory.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
And then sold
So
it.
there's that.
Yeah, you know what? I don't care how people get the posters anyway. Like, who gives a shit?
So I feel like that there's nowhere I can put this up. So this is basically just
Put it on your
gonna
roof.
come out for the TCCA convention tables, make an
Yeah.
Put
awesome
it
display piece.
above you when
Really
you
eye
sleep.
catching.
So you can look at Metroplex when you wake up. Sorry. Fort Max.
He's a retool. It's okay. You can say Metroplex.
That's racist.
Oh.
No,
Ooh.
it's not. But nice try.
No, that's Metro Titan.
Yeah, he's confusing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we're done
Alright.
with new acquisitions. I don't have anything new, Brad. You don't have anything new either, I think.
No, just paying off the young fellas' Christmas sleigh buys and that. Lego.
Yeah, it's good.
I hope he
It's
doesn't watch
such-
this.
Don't say what it is, because at some point you're going to realize that he listens to the podcast.
Oh no, no one listens
Yeah.
to the podcast, Jason.
Pew pew.
So, TCCA Club event time. It is membership renewal season. If you would like to contribute to the club and help us get out to do things like attending Supernova and Comic-Con and local events around the place where we will pack up the state rep and box them up and send them to be unboxed at that event live in front of a local audience.
Yeah.
Yes, please do contribute your $5 if you'd like to see Max boxed up and posted somewhere.
Yeah.
Probably just down the road, really, but yeah. Membership details are at transformerscca.com. There are birthday bash events coming up this month because September is in fact the Transformers Collectors Club Australia birthday. There are events up now for South Australia and Brisbane in the event section of the Facebook group, and there has been one up for a little while for Melbourne, and there's also been one up a little while for Sydney. Sydney, we are doing a Sydney, we're doing an event at a bar in Newtown called 1989, which we think kind of suits the aesthetic of TCCA. It's a great retro gaming bar. He's got classic arcade machines and everything. And we had a meeting with Ben, who runs 1989, last week, and he has ordered an English language conversion of Mystery of Convoy to be played on his.
Oh my god!
On his
Yes.
Mikey has no idea what this is about.
I love Mystery of Convoy.
So if all goes well and this game actually arrives on time, we'll have Mystery of Convoy playable on the NES. We'll probably have Transformers the Commodore 64, and we'll probably have Transformers Devastation on the big screen. There will be trivia, there'll be speed forming, and a couple of other events. There'll be a meet and greet, of course. So we expect people are going to bring figures along and turn it into a great night. So I've spent the most time talking about the Sydney event because it's the one that I'm involved in. Sorry, but Brad, do you want to talk about the Melbourne event as well? Oh, also, sorry, the Sydney event is in fact Sunday the 16th of September.
Next weekend,
17th.
Next weekend,
17th. Yes, sorry, I was looking at the dates and I did my dates wrong.
And also, Convoy no Nazo. I know my shit, Jason.
Did you just Google that?
Yep.
No, I know that. I know this game. I know the frustration. I know it. I know it all.
So yes, sorry, it is Sunday afternoon, the 17th of September, and things kick on from about 4 o'clock at 1989 in Newtown. So do come along and have a bit of a fun night.
Meet us.
Yeah, no, the Sydney.
Mikey.
What's organised and going up in Sydney is the flagship for the TCCA birthday parties this year. If you're in the Sydney area, it's definitely well worth getting down there for that. Also,
please do let us know if you are coming along as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just for numbers, we got we purchased the license to screen the A86 movie as well.
Mm-hmm.
Melbourne, we're going to be at. It used to be Galactic Circus. I think it's changed names now, but we've got six games of bowling booked, as well as just a regular going after the floor on the games. And I think the Transformers game now will be a popular one again. So
when is the Melbourne event? Is the week after?
That's the 23rd. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
23rd. Max is coming up. The one in Brisbane's coming up. Just waiting to hear from Perth and Tassie with what's happening down there. But
yeah. So we've got the first ever SA meetup coming up, which will be on the 23rd as well.
Yeah.
That's at St Helens Park on Prospect Road in Adelaide. There's at 1 o'clock. It's
on
just
which
going to
day?
be.
Oh, the 23rd. You said. Sorry.
Yeah, the 23rd.
Yeah.
So if you're in the Adelaide region, I'd recommend coming down. There's an events page in the TCCA group with info there. We've got a few people confirmed coming down, so it's definitely going ahead. There'll be a barbecue. Started saying Barbie, and then I said barbecue. Never fucking mind. Sorry. I'm tired.
We will, in fact, be grilling Barbie dolls on the BBQ.
On queues, on big old queues.
There'll be drinks and there'll be Transformers, so it should be a good time.
Yeah, we'll get that info up on the website as well this week. So
sounds good. I think we're at the end of the show. We thought this was going to be a nice, quick 1 hour podcast. How wrong we were. How wrong you were as well, listener, when you thought that it would be a nice, quick 1 hour podcast and started listening. However, you have made it to the end of this this little event. So thank you very much for listening. Mikey's doing some kind of weird gesture in front of his face. I'm not really sure what he's doing, but that's okay. Australian Transformers Weekly is produced by Transformers Collectors Club Australia. You can find the website at transformerscca.com. You can find the podcast on iTunes or your podcatcher of choice. Please head over there and give us a review. The link is in the website and in the show notes as well. And, of course, you can also find our companion podcast for the littlies. That is Transformers Legends on Facebook and on the TCCA YouTube channel. And if you are so inclined to type a URL in, it is www.tflpod.podbean.com. And that is recorded Sundays. So you might find that going live on the YouTube channel on Sunday afternoon if you're watching at the time. So thanks for listening, and we will be back later this week. Actually, no, not later this week. We will be back to our regular Friday night record around birthday bash time. Yeah, no, I don't think that really needs to change because it's Friday nights, but I don't know. Some of us might drop in and out of the podcast over the next few weeks as we prepare for birthday events. So, thank you for listening, and we'll be back next week.
See you guys.
Goodbye.